Hello everyone. Today we discuss about the topic solutions. In this PPTs, I have taken information and some diagrams from internet as well as the information and diagrams also taken from the book of Phadke Prakashan for BSc Part 3 Chemistry. Today we see the various types of solutions, miscible solutions, that is miscible liquids and other things. Actually solution, it is defined as homogeneous mixture of two or more chemical components. If the solution is composed only of two chemical components, it is called a binary solution. The component which is present in larger proportion is called as solvent, and which is present in smaller proportion, it is called as solute. A solution in which quantity of solute is very small compared with the solvent is called as dilute solution. And if the quantity of solute is more, then solution is concentrated solution. Depending on the nature of solute and solvent, 9 types of solutions are possible, and they are as solution of gas in gas, for example air; solution of liquid in gas, for example water vapors in air; solution of solid in gas, for example iodine in air; solution of gas in liquid, for example soda water; solution of liquid in liquid, for example ethyl alcohol in water; solution of solid in liquid, for example salt in water; solution of gas in solid, for example H2 in PD metal; solution of liquid in solid, for example Hg in gold; solution of solid in solid, for example zinc in copper, brass. For a given solution, the amount of solute dissolved in unit volume of solution is called the concentration of solute in a solution. The concentration of solution can be expressed in various ways or units as normality. What is normality? The number of gram equivalents of solute present in 1 liter or 1 dm cube solution is known as normality. Another term, that is molarity. The number of moles of solute present in 1 dm cube of solution is known as molarity. Third is molality. The number of moles of solute present in 1000 grams or 1 kg of solvent is known as molality. Then mole fraction. Mole fraction is the ratio of number of moles of the substance to the total number of moles of all the substances present in the solution. Weight fraction. Weight fraction of any component of a solution is the ratio of weight of that component to the total weight of all the components present in a solution. Then percentage composition by weight. It is the percent of dissolved substance by weight. Another terms are percentage composition by volume, mole percent, as well as parts per million. There are various types of solutions of liquids in liquids. These solutions can be divided into 3 classes as liquids which are completely miscible, for example ethyl alcohol and water; liquids which are partially miscible, for example phenol and water; liquids which are completely immiscible, for example benzene and water. Now we discuss about the Rolle's law. It states that the partial vapor pressure of any volatile component of a solution at any temperature is equal to the vapor pressure of pure component multiplied by the mole fraction of that component in the solution. It means equation of Rolle's law can be given as Pa is equal to P naught A multiplied by XA, Pb is equal to P naught B multiplied by XB, where Pa and Pb are the partial vapor pressures of two liquid components, while P naught A and P naught B are vapor pressures of pure components A and B respectively. XA and XB are the mole fractions of A and B respectively. Now we see what are the ideal solutions and non-ideal solutions. Solutions which obey the Rolle's law at all concentrations and temperatures are called as ideal or perfect solutions. Alternatively, an ideal solution is one in which the activity of each component is equal to its mole fraction under all conditions of temperature, pressure and concentrations. While solutions which do not obey the Rolle's law at all concentrations and temperatures are called non-ideal or real solutions. The vapor pressure of ideal solutions of miscible liquid can be shown in this diagram. The diagram shows that the graph of Pa versus XA as well as Pb versus XB should be straight line. The figure gives plot of these equations for the partial pressures of individual components. The total vapor pressure has been obtained by adding Pa and Pb values corresponding to various mole fractions. In this case, total vapor pressure lies between the vapor pressures of pure components. For an ideal solution, we will obtain all the lines which are straight lines. Now we observe the vapor pressure of non-ideal solutions of miscible liquids. In these diagrams, first diagram shows the ideal behavior, while another two diagrams shows positive deviation and negative deviations. Actually, there are three types. Type first shows small deviation from ideal behavior and total pressure remains always between the vapor pressures of pure components. It is observed that the total pressure as well as the partial pressures of each component shows a small deviation. It may be positive or it may be negative from Rolle's law. In another type, that is the real solution of type second, show large positive deviation and the total vapor pressure curve rises to a maximum which is above the vapor pressure of each of the pure components. And in case of third type, real solutions of type 3 show large negative deviations and the total vapor pressure curves dips to a minimum which is below the vapor pressure of either of the pure constituents. Now we see composition of liquid and vapor. The partial pressures of the vapors in equilibrium with a mixture of two volatile liquids are determined by measuring the total pressure P and the composition of the vapor. If the vapor is stated in terms of the respective mole fractions X dash A and X dash B, then we can write Pa is equal to X dash A into P, while Pb is equal to X dash B into P, and P is equal to Pa plus of Pb. In this case, X dash A and X dash B refers to the mole fractions of A and B in the vapor, and the quantities Xa and Xb to the mole fractions in the liquid. From the Rolle's law, we know that Pa is equal to P naught A into Xa and Pb is equal to P naught B multiplied by Xb. According to Dalton's law of partial pressures, P is equal to Pa plus Pb. So Pa is equal to X dash A into in bracket Pa plus of Pb bracket complete. By simplifying and by substituting the various values, we will obtain the relation of mole fraction of A in vapor divided by mole fraction of A in liquid. It is equal to 1 upon XA plus XB into bracket P naught B divided by P naught A, bracket complete. It can be seen from this equation that since XA plus XB is unity, the proportion of A will be the same in the liquid and vapor only if P naught A and P naught B have same values. If the vapor pressure of pure B is greater than that of A, the ratio P naught B upon P naught A will be greater than unity, and hence the value of denominator in the equation will also be greater than unity. The quotient in the equation will thus be the less than unity. Consequently, the mole fraction of A in the vapor phase will be less than that in the liquid phase. This means that if the pure liquid B has a higher vapor pressure than pure A, the vapor will contain relatively more B than does the liquid with which it is in equilibrium. Thus, the general conclusion derived here for a system obeying Rolle's law is that the vapor always contains relatively more proportion of the more volatile component than does the liquid phase. This generalization is known as Konovalov rule. We will see here some vapor pressure and boiling point diagrams of miscible liquids. Consider a binary mixture consisting of two miscible liquid components A and B. On heating under constant pressure, it will start boiling at a temperature at which its total vapor pressure becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure. If P represent the atmospheric pressure, then conditions for boiling is P is equal to PA plus PB. Since solutions of different compositions have different vapor pressures, they will boil at different temperatures. Thus, a solution of higher vapor pressure will boil at a lower temperature, and that with lower vapor pressure will boil at higher temperature. This makes it possible to draw boiling point composition curve from the corresponding vapor pressure composition curve for three types of solutions as shown in the figures. The nature of the curves are shown in these diagrams. Now we discuss about the distillation of miscible liquid pairs. As we know, here the curve marked liquid represents the variation of boiling point of liquid with composition. The vapor curve gives the composition of the vapor that is in equilibrium with any liquid at its boiling point. For example, the tie line, the line joining the liquid and vapor curves at the temperature, shows that the liquid represents by L and vapor represented by V are in equilibrium. Now from the curve it is evident that if we consider the solution having composition C1, and if we heat that solution, it will boil at its corresponding boiling point. The vapors coming up from this solution will contain more amount of the component A, and the liquid residue contains more amount of component B. If we condense the vapors, we will obtain the another solution, another liquid having composition C2. If we heat again that C2 solution, then it will boil at its corresponding boiling point, and again the vapors becomes richer in the component A. If we repeat this distillation and condensation, we will obtain pure component A in distillate, while liquid residue becomes more and more richer towards component B. By repeated distillation and condensation, we will obtain two pure components. One is in distillate and another is in as a liquid residue. The process of repeated distillation and condensation is known as fractional distillation. The distillation apparatus is known as fractionating column. It generally consists of long tube packed with glass beads. Broken glass tubes are blown into series of spherical pear-shaped bulbs. The fractionating column is then fitted to distillation assembly as shown in figure. As a mixture of liquid, say A and B, is heated in the distillation flask, the vapors consisting of more volatile component A rise up on coming in contact with the large cooling surface of the fractionating columns. The vapors of B will condense while those of A will pass over and collect in the receiver, while the condensed liquid consisting of less volatile component B flows down the fractionating column. This process is repeated at every point in the fractionating column, with the result that by the time the vapors reaching the top of the column consist mainly of the component A, while liquid flowing down contains mainly the component B. In this way, a sort of distillation and condensation takes place in the fractionating column, which results in separating the pure components of the volatile substances in the distillate in one operation only. The diagram shows the various fractionating columns by using which we can separate the two liquids in one step only. Now we consider the distillation of type second, system with a maximum in the total vapor pressure or azeotropic, or systems with boiling point minimum. This type of behavior can be represented as shown in figure. The liquid and vapor composition curves touch at the minimum point M, where liquid and vapor in equilibrium have the same composition. Therefore, the liquid mixture represented at this point will boil at a constant temperature and will distill over completely without change of composition. Liquids of this, which are not pure substances, are called constant boiling mixtures or azeotropic mixtures or azeotropes. The composition as well as the boiling point of such mixtures change with pressure, proving that they are not definite compounds. Now suppose that if we take the solution having composition A, if we heat the solution, it will boil at its corresponding boiling point. In this case, vapors coming up from the solution will contain more amount of component B. It is clear from the solution, it is clear from the diagram. And if we condense these vapors, then we will obtain the new solution having composition A dash, which contains more amount of component B as compared with the original solution. If we repeat this distillation and condensation process, then distillate will reach to the azeotropic mixture, at which the two curves, vapor curve and liquid curve, touch with each other at a single point. That is, composition of vapor and liquid becomes one and the same. Hence, at this point, the solution will distill without change of composition at a constant temperature. So it is an azeotropic mixture. So by distillation and condensation of the solution A, we can separate only one pure liquid, and it is in the form of liquid residue, and distillate becomes azeotropic mixture. Now if we consider the another solution, suppose that solution is B. If we heat that solution, it will boil at its corresponding boiling point. The vapors coming up from this solution will be richer in component A. It can be clear from this diagram. If we condense these vapors, then we will obtain the solution having composition B dash as shown in figure. And if we heat this solution, it will boil at its corresponding boiling point, and again the solution becomes richer in component A. If we repeat this procedure, then we will obtain distillate as azeotropic mixture, and liquid residue becomes finally to the pure liquid B. Thus we can separate component A or B only one by fractional distillation of this type of solution. Suppose that example of this system, it is an ethyl alcohol and water. In case of ethyl alcohol and water, the constant boiling mixture have composition 95.51% alcohol and 4.49% water. It boils at 351.13 Kelvin. Fractional distillation of original mixture containing more than 95.51% alcohol will give pure alcohol in the final residue in the flask, and distillate will be azeotropic mixture. Again, the fractional distillation of original mixture containing more than 4.49% water will give pure water in the final residue, and distillate will be azeotropic mixture. Now we discuss about type 3, system with a minimum in the total vapor pressure, azeotropic, that is systems with a boiling point maximum. This type of behavior can be represented in the diagram. Here liquid and vapor curves meet at maximum boiling point. Here again, the composition varies regularly with the external pressure, indicating that constant boiling mixture is not a definite compound. Here also, if we heat the solution having composition A, it will boil at its corresponding boiling point. In this case, the vapors coming off from the solution now will be richer in first component, while the liquid residue becomes enriched towards another component. By repeating the process of distillation and condensation, we will obtain one pure liquid in the form of distillate, and liquid residue finally reaches to the azeotropic mixture. It will be observed from both sides. Hence, we cannot separate both liquids from the same solution. We can obtain only one liquid in the pure form by fractional distillation or distillation of such type of a system. The example for this system, it is HCl and water system. For example, HCl and water form a constant high boiling mixture with 20.24% HCl and 79.76% of water, and it boils at 383 Kelvin. On fractional distillation of this mixture containing more than 79.76% water, we will get pure water in the distillate, and final residue will be constant boiling mixture. If original mixture contains more than 20.24% HCl, then by its fractional distillation we will get pure HCl in the distillate, and final residue will be constant boiling mixture. Now we see the solubility of partially miscible liquids. There are again three types: those pairs whose mutual solubility increases with increasing temperature, that is maximum solution temperature type. Another is those pairs whose mutual solubility decreases with increasing temperature, that is minimum solution temperature type. And type 3, those pairs whose mutual solubility both increases and decreases with increasing temperature, that is maximum and minimum solution temperature type. Now we discuss here the type first, that is phenol water system, that is maximum solution temperature type. Phenol and water are only partially miscible at ordinary temperature. Therefore, on shaking these two liquids with each other, two standard solutions of different compositions will be obtained, one of phenol in water and other of water in phenol. Such solutions of different compositions coexisting with one another are called as conjugate solutions. As temperature increases, the concentration of phenol in water as well as that of the water in phenol goes on increasing, and ultimately at a certain temperature the two conjugate solutions change into one homogeneous solution. This temperature is known as consummate temperature or critical solution temperature. Thus, CST can be defined as the temperature at which two liquids which are partially miscible become completely miscible in all proportions. This temperature for phenol water system is found to be 339.5 Kelvin. The composition of the solution is 36.1% phenol and 63.9% water. The variation of mutual solute of phenol and water with temperature can be represented as shown in figure. Consider at any fixed temperature, say T Kelvin, the composition of each layer is fixed as indicated by the points A and B. The point A giving the composition of water layer and point B gives the composition of phenol layer. When the temperature and composition of a mixture represented by A by a point C within the parabolic curve, the system consists of two layers of composition represented by the points A and B. Now, if we increase the temperature, then mutual solubility of both the liquids increases, and it goes on increasing till the point CST is obtained. At CST, both liquids becomes completely miscible in all proportions. In this case, the value of CST is 339.5 Kelvin as shown by the point S. Now we will discuss the another system having minimum solution temperature, and the example is triethylamine water system, and type 3 will be the maximum and minimum solution temperature type, that is nicotine and water system. The critical solution temperature, it is the temperature at which two liquids which are partially miscible become completely miscible in all proportions. It is also called as consolidate temperature. There are three types of CST: upper or maximum CST, lower or minimum CST, and type 3 will be the lower and upper CST. There may be some effect of impurities on the CST values. There is a marked effect on impurities. There is a marked effect of impurities on CST values. Presence of small amount of impurities produces very large changes in the CST values. Now we discuss about the vapor pressure and distillation of immiscible liquids. As we know, in a mixture of two immiscible liquids, each liquid exerts its own vapor pressure independent of the other. Hence, the total vapor pressure above the mixture containing two immiscible liquids in any proportion will be the sum of the vapor pressures of the pure liquids at that temperature. Hence, P is equal to P naught A plus P naught B, where P naught A and P naught B are the vapor pressures of the pure liquids A and B respectively. Since the boiling point of any system is the temperature at which the total vapor pressure becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure, the mixture of two immiscible liquids will boil at the temperature at which P naught A plus P naught B is equal to atmospheric pressure. Hence, this temperature, that is the boiling point of the mixture, will be less than normal boiling point of either of the liquids alone. Thus, if the total pressure is constant, there can be no change in temperature or in composition. Therefore, when such a system is distilled under constant pressure, the boiling point as well as the composition of the vapor will remain constant. In other words, the mixture will continue to distill off at a constant temperature as long as the two liquids layers are present in the distillation flask. As soon as the more volatile component is boiled away, the boiling temperature will rise to that of the less volatile component. Remembering that the number of moles of each component present in the vapor phase is proportional to its vapor pressure. The relative proportions of two liquids in the distillate can be calculated. If Na and Nb are the number of moles of the compounds A and B in the vapor at the boiling point, then Na divided by Nb is equal to P naught A upon P naught B. Since the number of moles is equal to weight upon molecular weight, so the above equation can be written as Wa by Ma divided by Wb by Mb is equal to P naught A upon P naught B. And the final equation will be Wa upon Wb is equal to P naught A multiplied by Ma divided by P naught B multiplied by Mb, where Wa, Wb and Ma, Mb are the weights and molecular weights of the two compounds A and B in the distillate respectively. Thus, the weights of liquids in the distillate will be in the ratio of their vapor pressures and molecular weights. This equation is used in the process of steam distillation. Here you will be show the diagram for the steam distillation. Steam distillation is the distillation carried out in a current of steam. The process of steam distillation is quite useful in the purification of liquid organic compounds and is generally applied to immiscible liquids which have either high boiling points or decompose before their normal boiling points are reached. The liquid to be steam distilled should have fairly high volatility near the boiling point of water. A mixture of water and high boiling organic liquid is heated by means of current of steam. The mixture will boil and distill over at a much lower temperature than the boiling temperature of the pure organic liquid. The apparatus used for steam distillation is as shown in figure. It consists of a metallic can in which steam is continuously generated by boiling water. The impure organic liquid or the solution to be distilled is placed in a round bottom flask. The tube carrying the steam from the can dips below the liquid in the flask. The distillation flask is kept heated gently on a sand bath in order to avoid too much condensation of water into it. The vapors of the organic compound mixed with steam pass over and are condensed in the receiver, forming two separate layers which can be separated by means of separating funnel. The organic liquid is then dried and redistilled. The assembly can be shown here. Thank you. I have prepared this PPT with the help of DU recorder. Thank you.